The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. You could do a classic herb-roasted turkey or spice it up and make turkey tacos. Serve up a go-to shrimp cocktail or use Simple Truth wild-caught shrimp for your first Cajun risotto. Make creamy mac and cheese or a spinach artichoke fondue from our selection of Murray's cheese. No matter how you shop, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace all your holiday traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest Anfield Index Under Pressure podcast. My name's Dan Kennett, and with me to discuss 2 Liverpool wins and a qualification, he's back. He returns, a prodigal son returns. It's Mr. Daniel Rhodes. Evening, Rhodesy.
How are you, mate? Great to be back.
Great to have you back, mate. Absolutely awesome.
Especially discussing 2 wins.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised Gags didn't come back.
If we'd have beat City, he'd have been on.
Defo. He would have just gate crashed it. But
yeah, apologies to all the listeners for the lack of pressing. It's been a hectic month, so.
I should just say that it's outrageous that Rhodey's not doing the pressing just because he's gone and got a job in the industry. So I know you can't really talk about it, Rhodey, but yes. It's consuming a lot of your time.
It is working for David Sumner's 12. Well, it's not just his, but 12 football. I'm sure you'd have seen it. Yeah, they're developing all sorts of different things, and I'm just helping with that. And it's taking up time, and yeah, as are other things like children and new businesses. So yeah, we'll come on another time.
Maybe. Well, we'll all be on, especially if your business takes off, Rosie. We'll all be over in the summer, I reckon.
Freebies.
Yeah. All under pressure. No, don't worry. I wouldn't expect anything like that. But yes. Anyway. But we don't have, from a sports science majority down to, we haven't got anybody this week. They're both away with work. But the good news is I do have our newest regular member. We haven't scared him off yet. It's Hamzah Khalik Lunat. Good evening, Hamzah.
Evening. Yep, back again. But honestly, it's more of a privilege to be back with Dan and Dan and the Dan. You know, it's Dan squared today. So
yeah, Rhodesy and Darth will do. Or DK if you don't want to Darth me yet. You know, but it's up to you. But yeah, this is a bit of a reunification, isn't it? Because I used to listen to you guys do your Tactics Weekly together. So I'll just log off now and you can just do the rest, right?
With Paul Dalglish.
Yeah, you did that for a good season and a half or so, didn't you?
Yeah, a good couple of seasons, yeah.
Yeah, at this point, usually Paul would sort of interject about what lovely weather in Miami he's having.
Yeah. I don't remember that. It was funny. But, yeah, I should just point out, I have been obliged by Eddie to point out that Hamzah he is working for the Times, but he did start his writing career very much at AnfieldIndex.com. And we are so glad to have you back, Hamzah. So you're a smash hit with the listeners, that's for sure, mate. Nothing but glowing feedback for you so far. I know you don't like to read below the line when you're a journo, but the UP Discord is don't consider that below the line, please.
As much as I can, I actually try and engage and read, because usually, to be completely honest, the UP Discord is usually full of like really good ideas.
You're crowd surfing on us.
Yeah, as in often in all seriousness, like the best sort of or the most interesting bits you often find on blog sites and sort of very fringe sort of areas, and you sort of go, "Oh, that's a good idea. No one spotted that." And then you 2 weeks later, suddenly it's on Sky Sports or whatever. You're like, that they must have got that idea from there. It's the same thing. Just fans that watch a team just are always ahead of people that sort of watch a few teams. So that's why areas like Discord are actually
one of my favourites. One of my favourite football blogger of all time is one of my most treasured follows on Twitter. He follows me. And Rhodesy, do you remember the Veelsbegarung? I can't even. That's Veelsbegarung. It was, and then he went off to the Bundesliga.
It's Spievelhagen.
Spievelhagen.
And you're talking about.
He became Marco Rose's assistant, didn't he? Gladbach. Yeah.
Rene.
Yeah, Rene Maric.
That's an excellent follow to have. That's a real feather to the cap. He was at StatsBomb
podcast with Rene on Anfield Index when Klopp signed for us. He did a tactical breakdown of him. He's superb.
Yeah. Rene's now at Bayern. He was the keynote speaker at StatsBomb conference this year.
Was he?
Yeah, he was excellent. In fact, I was talking to one of the guys from Arsenal about, because it was just after the Arsenal City match, and Rene sort of like itches. So it's like, you guys are talking about something interesting. Mind if I interject? And he just sort of gave a good sort of like 15, 20 minutes explanation about the intricacies of the Manchester City pressing system and Arsenal's out of play structure. And we both sort of sat there and went, this is brilliant. Actually, he's a fantastic.
Did you have your phone on secret record?
But he's at Bayern.
Don't work for a tabloid.
Right, there don't know those tactics at the Times, Rhodesy.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, right. That's enough. That's enough talking about bloggers turned good. But we are here to talk about 2 wins, Rhodesy. First, we're only going to touch on LASK. It was a long time ago now. But the lineups is always the most pertinent question. But we can't really go into the rotation because we haven't got side. But just for everybody's reminder. There was a lot of changes for this game. We went with Konate and Quansah, which was changed from VVD and Matip in the league game. Tsimikas obviously has to play with the only recognised left back. Gomez was in at right back. Kelleher was obviously in for his normal start, but that's obviously become a regular start now. It was back to the Europa League midfield, Rhodesy, the one we saw in the first few games we were asking for. Harvey, Endo and Grav.
Yeah.
They played a lot together, those three now. And then the only real first teamer you'd say in the 11 was Salah, and that's maybe probably because Jota was injured as well, and it was Nunez's turn for a rest. Rosie, what did you like the 11? The starting 11?
Well, I was at the game.
Oh, were you? How cold was it?
What, in the prawn sandwich brigade, Kenny Dalglish executive.
Oh, you were indoors. All right, yeah.
Shockingly bad.
Nice. Is that a perk of working for David Sumter?
No, it was a perk of working for Paul Tompkins. One of the subscribers has got a season ticket in the Kenny Dalglish Lounge, and a couple, Mick, who's an ex editor of a national, and his wife went to Australia to visit family, and they offered tickets. So me and my son went. And
wow!
Had a good time. I was ill, so I got
no change there then.
So it wasn't the best for me, but my son had a right good time.
I bet he did.
We got a Christmas present off Liverpool. We got a black Liverpool cup, which is absolutely lovely. Yeah, it was good. It was good. The atmosphere, the LASK fans were amazing. I watched them for 10 minutes in the first half.
All three sets of away fans in the Europa League at Anfield have been belting. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they really have. And yes, on the lineup, kind of expected. I wouldn't have played Salah, but as you say, I'd have played Ben Doak. But yeah, he came off after 60 minutes or something, wasn't it? 55, 60 minutes. So nothing wrong there.
Do you have a match summary for us?
Well, I do. Pretty dominating. 2 early goals. 24 shots to 7. 3.36 XG to 0.81. 9 shots on target. 5 big chances.
Woof.
Only 2 missed. We did concede 2. They missed them both. I think Kelleher saved one of them. He had a much better game in this than the one we'll come on to after. But it just early goals. We seem to have controls, seem to be enjoying it. They're not that good. They do have a set way of playing, LASK, but they haven't really got the quality. They seem to have 2 really good players who I did know, but I can't remember. I think it was Lubicic and number 22, Stojkovic, who came off, but I thought he was good. It's pretty much a typical home Anfield match summary this season.
Yeah.
We have
dominance.
We've had huge shot differences, huge big chance differences. I think his XG is about 3 on average at home. Obviously, we had the Toulouse one, which wasn't the best. But it's the Europa League. We want to get through to that stage. We haven't got the extra game now. We're hugely dominant at Anfield. The atmosphere was the best, but I wasn't helping, so I'm not going to criticise anyone. Gakpo 6 shots, 1.71 XG and XA.
Absolutely. And
you could do that in the league.
Well, I was going to say, look back to what someone we said in the pre-season part, that we said that Cody and Luis both have got up their production by 20%. I think we said 10% absolute minimum, close more like 30% to get to where we were with Bobby and Sadio, and Gakpo was pretty much there this season overall in all comps. I know because you have to do all comps because he's played less than 1,000 minutes, but he's at 0.64 on his non-penalty XG plus XA, which is Bobby, and so absolutely. And now, even since his arrival, we want the bigger sample. So he's at 0.55 over his whole time at Liverpool, which is only 10% below Bobby now in terms of Bobby was a regular 0.6 player. And it's just on the creativity side, which is the gap. The shooting XG for both of them is pretty much the same. It's just that Bobby has got about a third more on the creativity than Cody. So that's the only gap at the moment, Rhodesy, in terms of where we are with those.
Well, his production's improved.
Yeah,
Diaz doesn't have them, has it? Because you noticed. Well, I come on to it for the phone game, but
although saying that, when they scored 3 goals out of the 4 between them.
Yeah, his was good. It's just creativity, but he was at 0.28 in this game from 56 minutes.
Yep,
kind of what we need, but not up to Mane standards. We could do with another 10-15% from Diaz. He's had a lot of shit going on. Let's see if
any particular goals that you liked in this one, Rhodesy?
Honestly, mate, I can't remember.
I think the fourth one was nice.
Remind me of the fourth.
The Trent just. Trent's drive and run for midfield. Trent's drive and run for midfield, and then the pass to Gakpo on the at the left of the box. It was just beautiful, I thought.
Yeah.
And Hamzah, coming to you, mate. Did you note down anything of any note that you liked about this game? Anything that you want to call out? Because we're not going to spend too long on it.
I'll mention the XT because I think Bart's usually would. At 1.92 to Liverpool, 0.89 to LASK. I think we probably gave him a bit too much. There were a few.
If that was our average for the season, I'd be dancing on the rooftops, though, if it was 0.9 for the season. That was our XTA for the... Anyway, yeah.
It is only LASK, because I know a heavily rotated team as well, but there are a few moments where they just got forward and sort of threatened sort of mildly without getting the shots off. But yeah, we had it in terms of, there wasn't too much going on with this match. The key is that, that'll be one fewer match for the team to play. So that just helps. Nice as well, just to have Salah with the armband. I think he takes it He really enjoys having the armband. He takes particular pride in it. And yeah, that Trent assist from midfield, because he moved into midfield sort of late on, for that last goal was particularly nice, because you see, I think Endo wins the ball. Well, Endo takes the ball forward, then feeds Trent, and then Trent sort of carries up the field before laying the assist off. Just very clean, fast break, and that's one thing that we've been able to do this season quite well, actually, in terms of sort of opt to define fast breaks in the league. At least Liverpool are near the top for that last time I checked. So
Yep.
Just been able to progress up the quick pitch.
Makes a change from last season, where we were the team that conceded the most breaks because of our midfield and the way people. Yeah.
One other thing as well. Harvey Elliott, he had 0.28 XT, which is just quite good. He like as discussed before, that output in terms of goals and assists isn't quite there, but I thought he was fine. And one thing that I will mention on Elliott, just having watched him a bit more this season, because I watched him in the 21s. On that side, at least, the England, the 21 manager, thinks that his output is improving in terms of output in and around the box. That whether that reflects at Liverpool level is still to be seen. But in my mind, at least, having watched him in the summer and in those matches since, I think he's developing in a way that hasn't quite been picked up yet, or will soon be reflected in the stats. But I think you guys tend to disagree. But I think there's something there.
I think there's two things on that, Hamzah, with Elliott. To me, I think in the Europa League, I thought he was really good on Thursday. I think his teammates have a lot of kind of belief in him, and they kind of keep trying to give him the ball. 4 shots, 0.36 XG and XA. But with Harvey, I think his production has come against weaker opposition, so the under-21s in the Championship, in the Europa League, against weak teams in domestic competitions. And when it comes against some of the quality sides in the Premier League, when he's had minutes, it hasn't been there. Now, what is it, 20? Is it 21, 20?
20, I think.
Yeah, so what seems harsh to judge him by standards of a more complete, well-rounded, more experienced player, but it's more the fit, and I'm with Dan on this. Can't quite see a fit in terms of the positions that we play in the front six, and how he could adapt and get into that. So he's not. Do you think he's a fit for any of the positions as it is?
Well, I think the Liverpool squad is quite interesting. As we've got 5-6 players that all like to play 10. I mean, if you, let me actually count them out: Szoboszlai, Curtis, McAllister, Gravenberch can play 10, but I won't count him as one of these. Elliott, that's already 4. Am I missing anyone?
There was I can't believe I forgot his name, but the lad from Fulham who's gone to Leipzig.
Fabio Carvalho. Yeah, we've got a lot of 10s. We've got Trent who wants to play as an 8.
Playing a 10.
Without playing a 10. So I don't think it's necessarily sort of because he's still only 20. I think there's plenty of time for him to fashion and understand. I mean, last season was particularly tough on him because you're asked to play as I remember the first match of the season he was playing with Fabio Carvalho and Fabinho, and for Fabinho it was a nightmare because he's got 2 quite diminutive players that are playing super high and wide. And at the same time, if you are one of those 2 players as well, you're sort of looking around to your senior player and going, wait, I don't know what position it is. How am I meant to play as an 8? I've always been a 10. I've always been a winger. So for those players, I think there's still plenty of time to develop. That thing is often talked about, the leap as in that statistical development from a sort of good and promising player to an elite player. That usually happens around this sort of age. Some players do it a bit later. So I think it's worth persisting. See if that sort of does sort of come to fruition. Might not, but there's enough sort of technical quality there to see a very good player.
Absolutely. Are you there, Dan? Yeah,
I think so, Rhodesy. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you good, man. Any thoughts?
Yeah, interesting debate on Harvey. Is that because we haven't had much time to talk about him this season because he's been kind of only semi-regular, a rotation option. I think you have to factor in that he is only 20. Yeah, absolutely. But I still even think, you should expect some output because he proved that when things that people said after his season at Blackburn was, okay, so he's showing that he can score and assist quite a lot,
He was an output machine there.
For a player who, he was. And so I don't buy that, we shouldn't judge him that he can't produce output but the other thing as well is if you're playing in a good team, you will generate XT by virtue of playing an attacking position by being in a good team. I guess I struggle to think. Si said it well on the group. He doesn't do enough in the box and getting into the box for Liverpool in the first team. I still, unfortunately, and he can't do anything about this. I just can't get past the height and the speed. He's one of the slowest players in the team, and he's the smallest player in the team. And it's just going to be so hard. He's going to have to be so talented with the ball to make up for those other things.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month. A savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch, and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Yep, I agree. I think that there might be something there that might develop in the next 24 months. But
he's homegrown, and he's played a lot more in the front three this season, which I've liked, Rhodesy, especially rather than in midfield. But yeah, he has played more in the front three. But yeah, just output, please, Harvey. If just some regular goals and assists would be nice, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, nice discussion, boys. Anyway, on that, thank you for covering me while I was restarting. So yeah. Fulham. So it was back for the rotation. I think if Si was on, I think he would have been pleased with how we did it. So Van Dijk, Matip, and Trent were back in. So was Zobbo, and so was Mac. Grav started again. He started, so the Diaz started again, and Nunes is back in up front. So 6 starting 11 changes from midweek. And actually, I should have said that. Actually, Rosie, the other thing we've got a dead rubber in the group stage. We've now missing the round of 32 completely, going straight to the round of 16, and we get the second leg of the round of 16 at home. So that's a big fillip for winning the game group with one game to go.
And you can see,
seems that
that's why I think Klopp went with Salah, just to go, right, let's win this early, and I can bring it off. Because we need to win it for the group. I'm going to make my decisions a lot easier. One, with reference to Europa, two, the games that have come about around that time when the knockout's going to happen. And then, obviously, we've got loads of Premier League games. So it's just going to make his decision a lot easier, taking a risk for 45 minutes with Salah, 50 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah. Just wait till the team selection drops in Belgium.
And one thing as well, I remember in the Champions League, there's a good premium for winning as many matches as possible. The premium in the Europa League's a bit lower. I think it's around €1 million.
Oh, in money terms?
Yeah. So as in, there is, say, if Liverpool play a strong team in that final match, they will make some money, but it's nowhere near as significant as if you win all your matches or a match in the Champions League. So in financial terms, it's not that significant. But for winning the group, you still get, I think, around £1 million.
Oh, the famous... Are you referencing the famous Midtjylland dead rubber where Jota got a bad injury a few years ago?
I wasn't thinking specifically of that, but I just remembered that the prize money per match isn't that significant, so that there isn't really any real incentive.
It's only about £5,000 for winning the League Cup, innit? £1 million for winning the group sounds good. Yeah. But the League Cup money is shocking.
If you bill stuff through certain Middle Eastern, that's about it.
Newcastle get £1 million player bonuses for winning the League Cup, do they? Anyway, that's going to come out.
So, as a Times correspondent, have you seen much of Fulham this season, Hamzah? And what did you think of their lineup and their approach?
I have seen a few Fulham matches this season. I saw quite a few matches last season. I think statistically they profile quite poorly, and I think they're quite fortunate that the bottom three are quite poor this season, because they may, in a sort of conventional sort of relegation battle, actually be around that sort of level. Their style typically is, under Marco Silva's style, is to cross a lot, which made sense with Mitrovic up top, but since they lost him and Jimenez was coming, Jimenez just can't cope with that volume of crosses, and let alone finish that well. So they do struggle to sort of progress through Jimenez and convert chances. I think their fullbacks are quite good. Anthony Robinson, I think we might come to him. He had a good game. He's very quick.
I think we will come to him.
Tete's quite strong as well. Bassi used to play for Rangers and Ajax. So I've seen a bit of him. He's actually developed quite a bit. When he was at Rangers, he was seriously sort of one-footed. He's still a little bit clunky on the ball, but you can see that sort of smoothed out a bit at Ajax. Although I don't think Ajax fans are particularly sort of enamoured with him. And Leno last season as well was absolutely excellent. Oh, yeah. He had a brilliant shot-stopping season, and this season, I'm just going to grab up the goalkeeping stats. Fulham, in terms of post-shot XG, save for 90. So Leno's going at 0.11, which looks around 8th to me, just on 8th or 9th. Which is good, solid, because they often concede quite a lot of shots. There's a few interesting elements to their team. But I think that's the general sort of thrust of what's going on. And Polini as well, he tackles a lot, but he probably isn't worth as much money as Bayern Munich paid for him. That's the general thrust of their team at the moment. They've been struggling a bit in terms of performances.
One of the things about Fulham is that just at the start of this season, the amount of shots on target Leno was having to face was just mind-boggling. I mean, it's slowed down a little bit since then, but it was something like 40 shots on target they'd conceded after 4 games or something absurd this season. Yeah, but it was crazy. But Rhodesy, the match summary for this one could be an interesting one.
Yeah, very interesting. 20. So I was looking at this, and I'll bring it in after. It kind of comes across like the Luton game. 2.5, 26 shots to 9 in our favour. 2.5 XG for us to 1.37 for them. So they had a bit more than Luton. 15 shots in the box to 7 for us. Good, excellent, even. 12 shots on target to 5. Referencing kind of what you said then about Fulham conceding a lot of shots on target. That 12 is his highest this season. 4 big chances to 2. There's a concern. They converted both theirs. We didn't convert any of ours. 37 touches in the box to 16. again, excellent if you're having double the amount of the opposition. Now, it is Fulham, but I thought they played well. I thought they played well. I thought we were pretty poor in the first half, but got 2 wonder goals. And they kind of exploited our weaknesses ruthlessly and converted their chances efficiently. And we did the opposite, but decided we were just going to score 4 worldies, according to Klopp. Little bit of difference in the models. Opta had us at 2.2 and Understar at 2.7 with Cayley in the middle, as he always is. So, yeah, this kind of reminded me of the Luton game where we couldn't finish any of us high-quality chances. And in the Luton game, we were taking too many shots outside the box and they weren't going in. Whereas in this one, they did. Kind of regression to the mean. But it was a mad game. So, yeah. On the season, Dan, I know you just wanted me to touch on it.
Yes, Rhodesy. Yes. Now, before we go on to the Fulham game, yes, because we didn't have you on for the season review pod, we didn't get the chance to do your normal stuff, especially on the big chances and stuff. So, you set out what we needed to do this season in the pre-season pod. Set ourselves some targets. How are we doing against all the stuff that you like?
Well,
you like to look against?
If we're just talking goals, which is for more mainstream podcasts, but we're conceding 1 a game, exactly 1.00, which is
good. 1 a game is good.
It's good to league. It's good to league winning, but you need to be about 0.75 to kind of secure that. That's more overperformance from the best goalkeeper in the world, the best goalkeeper we've ever had, because we are conceding 1.31 non-penalty XG. And the biggest concern to me, as always, we're still conceding 2 big chances a game. If we aren't going to win the league, Dan, if at the end of the season we're still conceding 2 big chances a game, it's as simple as that.
We're 6th, I think, in big chances, aren't we, for the league, Premier League now?
I don't know. We're 3.36, which, I guess there's some teams now who are just creating more, but 3.36 is league winning. The production going forward is 100%. It's just the balance with...
So we're 2nd in attack for big chances. Do you know who's top?
Is it Newcastle?
It is Newcastle still, 50.
Aren't Newcastle best defensively as well?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They're just the best team in the world.
They have a plus 38 big chance difference for the season, which is pretty astonishing, really.
That's league winning, Dan. That's where we need to be.
It is. We're plus 19, but our Newcastle's is double ours.
Plus 38. That's ridiculous.
Mad.
For an Eddie Howe side. I
know.
So, yeah, we need to get... We did win the league conceding 1.3, 1.4 big chances a game. If we can get it down to 1.3 and keep the same production going, that's what we need. We are up to 6 shots on target a game.
Newcastle are less than 1 per game in defence.
It's just... It's
annoying, isn't it?
I noticed you put it in the group and didn't have any reply.
Well, Brundage still thinks they're garbage, even though they gave Man United an absolute shellacking on Saturday, didn't they? They really did.
We are boosted by that Sheffield United game, but that's coming a little bit more. That's that is not that big a factor now when they've kept doing it against quality sides.
Yeah.
My concern is that we've had, and I know there's a sending offs. We've had 11 shots in the box this season, and our opposition's had 8. So 8 shots in the box for the opposition, 2 big chances and 4 shots on target. We aren't winning the league with those figures. Yeah. You need to get the opposition shots under 10. You need to get the shots on target to under 2.5. Yeah. You need shots in the box 5 and below, preferably, and big chances down to about 1.2, 1.3. So
yeah. There's got to, if you're going to concede or allow that much on your own goal, that you've got to have exceptional luck and be exceptional in going forward, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the key is, even if you've got a good attack, the attack can't stay as hot as it needs to be for a whole league campaign. At some point, it's going to splutter.
Well, Dan, there's a theory talking about this game that we could have lost it 3-0. If we missed 4 big chances.
Yes.
Those kind of goals that we scored aren't very regular for obvious reasons.
No, they're not.
So obviously we could have scored 4 big chances and won 4.
Was Trent's winner? Was Trent's winner technically inside the box or outside?
Just, yeah. There is a great stat from Bees. Let me just see if I can find it, which added up all the
distance.
The distance, a good one. Which it was something like we had a 28, a 25, a 19, and a 17, and then the combined distance from goal of Fulham's was 16 yards.
Yeah, like that Dirk Kuyt hat-trick against Man United.
Yeah. No.
The combined distance of 2 meters or something. Yeah. So definite progress, Rhodesy, but if this was a transition season, without people talking about the league title, we'd be thinking this is a good progress, right? It's good progress. We're ticking along nicely. Top four's almost guaranteed here, but we're trying to have the whole conversation and with the context of people saying, "But we're in the title race. And okay, and then we got to. 3 out
of 4 of us didn't say we were going to win the title on the preview pod. I don't know if Hamzah thought we were going to win the title before the season.
I think Brundish said we were.
That's what I mean. 3 out of 4, me, you, and Phil did it.
I think Brundish said Souness was going to win the title when Souness with Liverpool.
Probably Hodgson. Hodgson was going to win the league at the start.
We're still winning the league, yeah. Hamzah, did you think we were winning the league pre-season?
No, I thought City would.
We all did.
I think we all did. So just Rosie mentioned the poor first half generally, but Hamzah, I think it's worth noting that we had the ball in the net on 8 minutes, and I think it was a second phase offside that it was called off for. But the main story here was the Petr Cech style knee on head for Bernd Leno. It was a real nasty one, right?
Yeah, it did. I mean, the game was sort of paused for 8 minutes. Straight away.
Yeah.
As soon as the camera sort of panned in, oh dear, you could just tell tomorrow morning or the following morning he'd be really sore. I was surprised that he was kept on with all that strapping. As in, often people know if you've ever had strapping and it's near your sort of eye, you initially have it on, you sort of think, yeah, it's fine, and it's sort of overlapping your eye, and as the sort of match wears on, you go, oh my god, I actually can't see properly because the strapping's in the way. The Diaz himself had every right to go for the ball. Just, I think, caught Leno really nastily, and it's a shame that Salah didn't get it because that would have been his.
It would have been it. Has there been any blowback or discussion about the Leno staying on the field after the in the media, especially with all the concussion protocols and stuff? It seems like a world away from the NFL when you see concussion protocol in the NFL when they're going off to the blue medical tent at the side of the pitch and concussion subs and stuff like that.
Scandalous, Danny was.
Has there been anything in the press? Has there been anything in the press afterwards about it, Hamzah?
No,
Hamzah. Did you not see the ref say to him, "Are you okay?" And he said, "Yes, I'm fine."
That's the concussion. Is that the concussion protocol?
I didn't see that bit, but you guys might be better positioned to explain sort of protocol. But in terms of the media, I don't think there's been any sort of significant blowback. The thing is with concussion, is in symptoms sometimes don't present themselves until a day or even after a day after. So there is potential that as we record this on Monday night, obviously, hopefully Leno's absolutely fine, but there is potential that like some symptoms such as like throwing up and all that sort of stuff could become sort of could manifest like today or tomorrow. In terms of coverage, I didn't see any sort of but there is that Sai often talks about this as well. Players they always want to play, so that is the point of a sort of medical professional to actually separate the coaching staff and the players and have someone independently there to put the players' welfare first, because a player will always say, that they can play, and they're away from home, they've got their teammates, and especially if it's a goalkeeper, and they're the number one, they often will just be as willing as possible to play on. It's these sort of qualities, as in an innate sort of willingness to put aside sort of pain that often is important for players becoming sort of top level, because you need to make a certain amount of sacrifice, and you need to sort of have a high pain threshold and all that sort of stuff. If you want to train every day, if you have to sort of deal with knocks and stuff. But the important thing here is to actually have a professional that steps in and goes, yeah, you need to come off the pitch for a bit. But at the moment, I think there's still some work to be done with concussion subs, so temporary subs.
Yeah.
That is an IFAB thing, I think, but it still hasn't been sort of sorted yet.
No, it hasn't. But like you said, it was a long delay. And then pretty much, I don't know, Rhodesy, 2 minutes after he was finally back on his feet, he was facing a direct free kick from a certain Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I'm just so gutted that this went down as an own goal, because it's legit one of the best free kicks I've ever seen.
Okay, well, it wasn't going in though. It is one of the best, and for a good 20 minutes, I was speaking to my son about it, going, oh, "That is just unbelievably good." And they're always goals, free kicks, but goals are always best when they go in off the bar, which is what I thought has happened. But yeah, I don't know if there'd have been a level of spin that, had it not hit him, it might have gone back in. Who knows?
1966 style.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't.
No, yeah.
But who knows? But either way, it was an absolute just what. And you could see himself as he's running off to celebrate. He's kind of putting a face on, going, "Wow, that was good even for me." And then he does the mock Man City celebration, doesn't he? With a finger on.
Yeah.
Just to go, yeah, shh, but he's laughing. Yeah, great run from Szoboszlai.
Yes, for the foul.
Yeah, I thought he should have given it to Salah, but thankfully he didn't. But yeah, that's what you want from your midfield, driving in.
Yeah, so I think it's time we need to talk. I'm going to bring in Bart. Bart has left me some analysis to read out, and his stats pack is already in the Under Pressure Discord group for you lovely listeners. And we have to talk about the not so good stuff now, Hamzah. And that's I just think the best word for it is very soft. The very soft equaliser that we gave up pretty soon after taking the lead. It was just that it was out of nothing, wasn't it? There's no way that should lead to a goal, really, in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of sort of so it starts when, well, it doesn't really start, but some context to this is that Van Dijk goes up the pitch on the left side, so the back four is in a slightly different shape. Yeah. And as the ball actually progresses up the pitch, as Fulham move into the final third, you've actually got Matip at right back, Trent at centre back on the right side, and Kostas Tsimikas also at centre back, but Van Dijk at this point is actually getting back into position. So when he sort of joins up and
you've got Matip facing up against Iwobi and Robinson, so it's basically a 2-on-1.
Yeah, McAllister is nearby, but he's covering the space. It's
the Jeremy Doku position.
Yeah, but infield, I think so. The issue. So I might just get a grab and send it into the live chat, and I might pop it into the Under Pressure Discord. But as in, what happens is Harry Wilson just moves off Gravenberch and into the box. At this point, inside the box, so this is just as the ball goes out wide. Liverpool have Kelleher, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and McAllister, 5 players, and Matip is just sort of on the edge of the box. So you've got 5 players, and there's just one Fulham player, Jimenez. And then Wilson goes into the box, and
makes the near post run.
And as soon as he does this, because he's in McAllister's blind spot, that should be a sort of trigger for Alexander-Arnold to move across, because McAllister can't see him. So if he's behind him, that should be the space that you close off and cover. Neither player does well. So McAllister sort of lets the ball just go past without sprinting to get to it, and Alexander-Arnold's slow to it. And then there's also Kelleher as well, who, well, if Alisson's A probably saves it, but this is there's no point sort of lambasting Kelleher. He's the number 2 goalkeeper. You're not going to expect Alisson level goalkeeping from the number 2, but you might expect a little bit better from the number 2, and he doesn't.
Yeah, I guess the thing that we used to say when we first started doing this kind of stuff, Rhodesy, was the number one thing is stop the crosses coming in. That was what we always block the cross, but now we just like leave left wingers in freedom of Anfield to place and pick out a man, right? That seems to, well, not just at Anfield, home and away we seem to do it, but you can't really blame Joel Matip because he was faced with 2 players in an overload, wasn't he? So
yeah, it was just poor organisation.
Yeah,
on about 5 players. Would Alisson save it? I can't. He doesn't get megged very often.
No, he doesn't.
So he seems to have that quick reaction, either his feet or he cuts off the angle better, and he's not as static as what Kelleher was. But I'm not blaming Kelleher. I am blaming Trent and maybe Mac for he's a runner into the box.
Well, shouldn't we just blame the coaching staff?
Both.
Yeah. Anyway, but we said last week, this is a concept. We're not even trying to defend with somebody in the right back zone anymore. We've actually, it's not inverting in possession only now, is it? It's pretty much inverting.
Yeah, well,
permanently inverting, Matip, if that can be a thing.
I don't know if it was a poor Matip pass or for us to lose the ball, but it was the transition from that we were so poor. There was no organisation there, and if you are changing positions, which is kind of what Mac and Trent were there to cover Matip, who might have just given away the ball. One, we didn't prevent the cross, which is a bad start, and then to not track it, they didn't have any runners. It was just him. And then, as Hamzah touched on, there was Jimenez, but that's not for those two. To not do that job and let him get just a little flick in the corner of the 6-yard box, it's just poor defending.
Yeah.
And all that things.
So I've just got a few notes from Bart's to read out. Is that from he breaks the match into 6 segments from 16 minutes to half time. Fulham had more expected goals and more EPV, which is our version of his version of XT than us, which is quite bad considering we were the home team. Trent was overall highest for us with XT for the match with 0.2. In terms of the pass maps, he said we have good depth to our pass maps. Our front 3 were in the right positions in the half spaces in zone 14. But one of the big issues was that Luis Diaz had no connections at all to Mo Salah or Darwin Núñez. Costes has also got a low pass accuracy into Núñez. Midfield 3 was good shape overall. And they definitely facilitated Trent with his on ball and his XT. We didn't let Fulham attack into zone 14 for any sustained period. Obviously, strong left-hand side, as you might expect, because with our system. And the other thing he noted was we had a lack of dribbling in this match. Only six successful dribbles, which is a real low for us. Last week we talked about Trent's passing being a real concern with like 59% accuracy. Back up at 80% accuracy for this week. But something else we've talked about in previous weeks, only 9% of Mo's touches were in the penalty box. And for this match, I don't know if you saw this, Rhodesy, but Salah was actually classified as a midfielder on FB ref for the game due to his average position.
Wow.
Well, that's not good.
Talk about it about 10 times last season. Regularly, when we have struggles, it's the connections between. It'd be supposed to lie this season, but Szoboszlai, Nunes and Salah. I think Phil had a player match. I haven't put it in, but it was like a connection between who the passes were.
Yeah.
I think went past it to Szoboszlai 6 times and Salah 6 times, which isn't that bad, but there was no production. And as you say, Salah not have it. Well, he had 2 big chances down, but yeah.
Yeah. And it's worth noting that the thing he's created for Hamzah's already put in change requests for Phil's dashboard already, right? Which was an EPV zone map, I think it was, or heat map, Hamzah. So in this match, our biggest heat map for XT was zone 14. He said that's exactly where it should be. So that was the system was getting the expected threat into the right area. So that just means you just need that player in that central centre forward position to be on the end of stuff. So that looks like it's working exactly as it should.
I thought it improved second half. I thought we did get that, and maybe that's where the volumes come from because we had a lot of.
Well, we'll talk about the after half time period, which was definitely a big improvement. But let's finish with the first half.
Dan. Didn't see it at all.
No, it was first half was probably the worst performance this season, worse than Toulouse.
It was certainly the worst half I've seen at Anfield.
Yeah, up there with Luton and Toulouse. Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty grim. However, we did have. This is the definition of a long range goal, Rhodesy. He literally hit it so hard he almost knocked himself off his feet. He absolutely larruped it, didn't he?
This qualifies a thunder bastard, Dan.
Alexis McAllister. I mean, he's only got little legs, hasn't he, the fella? But...
It's a nice dribble from. We're talking about dribbles. Diaz does a nice one and then loses the ball, beats 2 men. Fulham clear it, and then I don't know who it was, but they tried to knock it down for Fulham's holder, it might have been Pereira, and then it just falls to McAllister, and it's a thunder bastard. I couldn't decide which was better when at this point I still thought Trent's had gone in properly.
Yeah. It's the longest range goal we've had at Anfield since Divock Origi against West Brom, but that was a massive deflection, wasn't it? The Origi one. But this was clean as a whistle. This is 28 metres in the air, and it still hit the net, virtually rising as it went into the net, which is incredible. So
cleanest strike you're ever going to see. Perfect amount of spin, great technique. Not sure I expected it from him. In fact, tell you what, Dan, I would probably say, "Don't shoot." Whereas a lot of the crowd is starting to shout, "Shoot!" Yeah. I'm the one that's going through ball. Get in the box. Get some salad touches.
But yeah, you go 2-1 up through 2 absolutely spectacular goals when you're playing like pretty poorly overall. But the Hamzah again, this was another bad goal to concede. This time off a set play.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool are positioned well enough at the. I think Liverpool are just a little bit deeper than usual at the front post zone, which means that when the cross comes in, Jimenez is actually able to attack. He gets to the edge of the 6-yard box and the front post zone quite easily and leans quite backwards and able to win the first contact with, I think, probably 2 yards around him, sort of radius. And that is really bad actually to lose that first contact, because as we know with set pieces, the key is actually more than often than not is getting the first contact and directing that first contact, if you're attacking, that is, towards a goal, and because everyone else is then in a state of total reaction to that. Everyone's destabilized, and that means that all the Liverpool players around are now trying to reorientate themselves because they've set themselves for a ball that's come to the near post, and now it's been slipped. So there's a little bit of motion change when players are stepping forward and then freezing and stepping backwards. Meanwhile, for the Fulham players, the only thing that they need to react to is just to get the ball on target, which is what Tete does. But yeah, the key here is to make sure that you win the first contact, and I think that's affected Liverpool's set piece XG now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, to be fair, Hamzah, you did say we weren't exactly great defending set plays. You did say that last week.
Yeah. We're now 7th in the league in terms of set piece against, as in
shots or XG.
Set piece XG. So the worst being Luton. So it's Luton, West Ham, Sheffield United, Burnley, Bournemouth, Forest, then Liverpool.
Oof.
Rubbish.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So that is 4.84 XG against and 3 set piece goals and 53 shots. In terms of shots, that places Liverpool pretty much mid-table, just ahead of Fulham, Forest, Chelsea and United. But as in the difference, as we mentioned before with Arsenal and City, is massive. So
yeah,
City have just conceded 27 and 2.62 XG from set plays, and Arsenal 19 and 1.75.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Start at Columbus State Community College. When companies like Intel need to fill thousands of new jobs in Central Ohio, they hire Columbus State graduates. Our engineering technology programs equip you with skills and experience to launch a high-tech career in Columbus's fast-growing fields. And our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive campus community. Take the first step. Apply at cscc.edu/engineering tech.
Hello, I'm here to annoy you. I'm here to annoy you into listening to more of me and more of others on EPL Index. We don't just have the Anfield Index stuff. We've got EPL Index as well, which covers the entirety of the Premier League. And we have 3 podcasts and a whole bunch of really good writing on EPLindex.com. The podcasts are my own Two-Footed podcast, which is every day at 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, covering the whole league. We have A Tad Predictable, hosted by Tadiwa. You know Tadiwa, he does Anfield Index. He presents A Tad Predictable before every Premier League match week. And then Kevin DeVries and his crew on the EPL Roundtable, they're every week after the Premier League match week. So make sure you listen to everything we're doing on EPL Index and follow us there on Twitter at EPL Index. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. So it's always nice, Hamzah, when you get your first piece of, I mentioned this last week, and there you go. This is what happened. So it's always nice when you get your first one of those. That's what I say. We talk about Kelleher again. Again, this is where, the not having the best goalkeeper in the world, you look bad in comparison, because this is definitely where Ali does his starfish stuff impression, isn't it? And he just gets something on it.
Yeah, Alisson has that technique where he sort of, like you said, the starfish, but also he sort of sweeps his legs as well. Yep. And Kelleher just doesn't execute it the same way. I think he sort of overcommits to.
He does get hands on it, doesn't he, as well?
He gets his foot to it and then sort of reaches back when he's off balance. Yeah. Again, there's not too much you can sort of say. Kelleher is a number 2 goalkeeper. He's not going to save what Alisson does. You'd hope that he probably does save this one. And I think just from a Liverpool point of view, you just got to hope that Alisson's back in time for Arsenal.
One save he definitely does make is just before half time in first stoppage time, another set place, and he does save the header before the follow up is offside.
Yeah, that's right. This is and
that was actually quite a big save, actually.
Who gets the header again? I'm just trying to
Polini, I think.
Yeah, Polini, and then Ream is on the rebound.
There's an interesting thing here. He saves the one that doesn't count. And Liverpool sort of get a bit lucky in the other way in that their set pieces go in this. I mean, their long shots go in this game. I mean, you'd rather the long shots go in a 4-3 than go in as they did in the 7-0 against Palace a couple seasons ago, or last season, whenever it was, when everything sort of. So sometimes the luck falls your way, sometimes it doesn't.
True, but we have to be defending set pieces better, don't we? To be 7th in terms of XG conceded. I know it was a big XG chance. Was it 0.55? So that's going to take us up there. But it's just a near post corner. You have someone on the near post marking the opposition player that's going near post.
Yeah.
And as Hamzah analysed perfectly, he's got a 2 yard radius around him.
Yeah, that was the biggest concern, wasn't it? Definitely. Yeah. But second half, Rhodesy, between half time and 65 minutes, we have a very good 20-minute period in terms of the attack, in terms of generating chances at least.
Yes, so we have the from 51 to 58 minutes, we do have 6 chances. A lot of them, again, from distance, although Núñez hits the woodwork. And although FBUF have given it 0.12, Understat give it 0.38. It's a good counter-attack. Moore carries it perfectly weighted pass. I think he hits it well. Just unfortunate with this one. But it's the first time in the match. This is the thing we talked about earlier in the season, isn't it? About transition. Using transition for us to create moments, and this was the first time we had it in this match. Yeah, and execute it perfectly, and it gets a good shot. It's just unfortunate. And then Núñez sets up Salah for another big chance.
Yeah,
wasn't there a big chance at the end? Was it the end of the first? No, maybe.
No, there was a shot from the angle from Mo. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so he sets up Salah. He doesn't. It's saved. Maybe he could.
Diaz has a couple of shots in this period as well.
Could Salah knock it across for Diaz for an easy tap in? I'm not sure any striker's not going to shoot there, but I've heard that said.
Yeah. Diaz has a couple of shots in this chances in this period as well, and then the one on 61 minutes, where we have some nice build up, and Mo just puts a lovely header in. A headed key pass would have been a rare thing from open play, Rhodesy.
It's such good build up. Salah's cushioned header is perfect. It just gets everything wrong about this one. Barely gets a connection, doesn't it? Can't decide which foot to use.
But it's still 2-2. We're playing a bit better, but then this Hamzah is where the flurry of substitutions happens, and the Joel Matip injury. On that one, we don't have Sai or Bart's here, but the manager has spoken, and I think his words were, "It doesn't look like a short time," which isn't great news, obviously, with the busy Christmas period coming up. Although on the positives, Jarell Quansah did have an extremely good game against LASK, didn't he, Rhodesy?
I meant to mention that. Yeah, he just looks unbelievable for his age.
Do you think he looks ready to? I think he'll have to play in the Premier League over Christmas now. Do you think he's ready?
Well, I think Konate will play, but yeah.
No, I mean, with so many games, Konate can't play 3 games a week. He'll break down.
Do I think he's ready? Who knows with young centre-backs? I think it's the hardest position for a young player to play in. But the composure he showed on Thursday for a couple of chances that they created that didn't end up in chances, he kind of shows a similar level of one, composure, but 2, ability to read it.
Yeah.
So he spots it a bit like Van Dijk. I know he's nowhere near that level, but I mean, you can see the early thinking, the early movement to get into positions to then either make a challenge or jockey or whatever. Young centre-backs don't have that, in my experience.
Yeah. He's had a pretty damn good Europa League group stage, hasn't he? I mean, you can argue there's probably been 3 matches out of 5 where he's been our man of the match.
Yeah. So, it's a fortunate development from him in terms of not signing another centre back, but he certainly looks it at the moment. Do you know
what, Rhodesy? I wouldn't even be surprised to see him against either Sheffield United or Palace.
Maybe. No, and I wouldn't be disappointed or worried
because you can't play Ibu back to back, and you can't play Joe Gomez back to back.
And if you can't play those, and as Sai says, Konate seems to do a lot of Chaos defending. He's kind of a bit of a Nunes,
doesn't it? Well, yeah, as Si said, he likes putting out his own fires.
Yeah, he puts out his own. He's got the ability to put out his own fires because he's got the physical attributes. Whereas there doesn't seem to be many fires around Quansah.
Well, a long way that continue. That's for sure. So Hamzah, how did you see it all with the all the substitutes for both sides? A real flurry of subs and an injury over 10-minute period. It must have been about 10 changes.
Yeah, that's right. So I think Willian, Tonkearney both came on for Fulham on 62, then Gakpo, Gomez, and Konate on 64, 65, and 69 respectively. In the match momentum, which is pretty much XT, you see a little drop off, and then Liverpool also managed to sort of regain and rebuild. And there's a chance for Diaz, which is a header, 0.07, I think. Yeah, that's right, in the 68th minute. And it looks like there's a sort of brief period of consolidation. You see Alexander-Arnold get on the ball a bit more just in the moments before Matip gets injured, and then Konate comes on. But yeah, there's a brief loss of momentum with that as well, and that's sort of where Fulham managed to come in. So you can literally just see on the match momentum chart. So Konate comes on 69th minute, and then Liverpool have the ball for a bit, and then you just start to see one of those spots for Fulham, and then when Liverpool regain the ball, they're not quite as effective again, and then you get to the Willian.
We made a flurry of subs, right? We ended up with 4 defenders on the pitch, right? We had a back 4, so there was no need to invert Trent anymore. Trent was in midfield, yes, and we had 4 forwards, yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So pretty much McAllister and Szoboszlai had gone up by this point. What did we do in terms of? So obviously Nunes was central, Diaz was left. Where did you see Cody Gakpo and Joe Gomez particularly after the hour mark when we were building up?
Gomez started to help actually add a bit of width to help stretch play a bit. So he went wide as Alexander-Arnold went infield. Gakpo was moving across from the left and to the right, so you see him actually take shots. So I think on the 71st minute, you see him take a shot.
Do you think he was more like definitely the deepest of the 4 forwards?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and did you see much of one thing we were asked on the Under Pressure Discord? Did you see much evidence of on second rewatch of Gomez inverting once he came on?
There were bits where he did, but I'm just getting so like if you look at what he does is a bit of both. So there's a piece actually earlier in the week that I mentioned before we started, and David Seeger from Opta did an analysis on Alexander-Arnold, and he showed that actually he does play wide and he does play infield a bit more than what I said last week when I said that it probably would be better that he does play a bit wider. So what he was doing is comparing last season when Trent was playing in midfield to this season. So there are clearer hotspots out a bit wider and a clear sort of hotspot in infield, whereas last season it was just quite clearly just playing on the inside, and you do see Gomez doing this as well. So the point I'm making is Gomez actually did a similar thing as well. So moments where he held width and he went wide, and there were others where Salah just held the width and Gomez went infield. So if anyone has the matchup, you can have a look at the 72nd minute, and you actually see Gomez in the second sort of line alongside Trent. So it's Konate and Van Dijk as the first line. It's a 2, and then another 2 with Trent and Alexander-Arnold, and then he starts moving back. So what he does, he forms a 3 and then moves into midfield, and sometimes drops back, and then sometimes goes wide. Again, this is actually something that we are seeing more of in the league. So over the past few seasons, we've seen systems where they're quite structured. For example, there was the Liverpool would play a couple of seasons ago with a clear 2 and then a 3. Yeah. And then the trend in last season became to play with a 3 and then a 2. And then one team in particular that have been quite sort of effective at sort of morphing their group around Arsenal at the start of this season, really started sort of manipulating their base. They went from like a 3 to a 3-1 shape, to then a 2-3 to a 3-2, and they used different shapes at different moments to manipulate the opponents.
Yeah.
And sometimes like for example, Ben White would go wide, or Ben White would come inside.
Yeah.
And that is actually sort of what we saw from Gomez. He'd come in, play forward passes, then move up ahead of the centre backs, and sometimes he'd pull wide as well. So it was a bit of a mix, actually.
So it's fair to say that he wasn't playing like a conventional right back.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I'm asking you about this is because we did that, look for on your rewatch just to see what you noticed on this in the cool light of day. It's just that you just don't think of Joe Gomez being that type of ball playing defender anyway. You think of him more of a, I don't know. I think he's more of a one-on-one defender. He's the mop-up, the coverer of the two. He used to have the proactive one and the coverer. And Gomez was always that kind of defender, right, with his pace and his just general mopping up defensive abilities. But you don't really expect him to be, the ball playing and distributor, right? So how do you think he's well suited to doing it?
Well, one thing I think we you guys on the pod especially have always praised his line breaking ability with the ball as well. That has been a sort of characteristic of his play, where Van Dijk has a switch and Matip has a dribble. One of Gomez's strengths is the ability to line break with low hard passes along the turf to instigate sort of attacks. And I think that actually stands him in good stead for if you're playing something like this. He also, because he's not as quick as he once was, but he's still quick. So he has that turn of pace where he can just carry the ball forward. And I think, as we discussed last week or the week before, having a player that is able to carry the ball forward, especially from defence, is important because it draws an opposition play out and then creates space for your midfielders or your forwards. Given maybe like a year.
Do you think he did? You think he did a fair? Yeah, you think he gave it a fair go?
Yeah, but the point I was going to make is that if someone told me like a year ago that like Nathan Ake or Ben White or Manuel Akanji, all these other
Destiny Udogie, he did it against City at the Etihad.
Udogie is a fullback, right? But as in these other centre backs playing in field. If someone told me that, if someone said that to me a year ago, I probably would have said that's probably that's a bit sort of experimental. I wouldn't maybe expect to see a lot of success there. But given that we've seen those teams do it, Arsenal and City have done it, and I think we all appreciate Gomez's on-ball sort of ability to play forward. I wouldn't write it off. I think he did a good job. And given that he's only played, he has been learning this position. So the first few times we've seen it, it does just strike you as a bit strange. But I think the thing is that when I wanted to try and spend all this time talking about it was because it's been a narrative this season that we're suboptimal in some way because the system is not making the players more than the sum of their parts. I mean, and it's a fair debate, I think, either way. However, there's been a school of thought that says, well, just play Trent in midfield, buy a right back, right? As if then if you buy a right back and play Trent in midfield, you'll just go back to being a conventional right back. But what it tells me is if you invert Joe Gomez while also Trent is on the pitch, it tells me that this system is here to stay. Because we're inverting whoever is playing in that position now. Yeah. Irrespective of personnel, because Trent was there in midfield. And Dan, do you still collect the through balls conceded? And do you have I should have asked you.
No, because that's not. Yeah, what happens is when something stops being a thing, we stop talking about it because it just goes back to normal levels. Last year it was horrific. Yeah. But I can get you the latest. Yeah, but while you're talking,
because I remember one of the upsides to having an extra body in field was just that the through balls conceded fell away.
Huge,
and that was the biggest part. I mean, there will be different areas that teams attack Liverpool in, but if the option is that they attack them through the middle or on the right channel, I think the preference is always going to be the right, because it's
no
the
question.
shortest route to goal through the middle, and that's where you're going to get your best quality shots. All that sort of. If the idea is that opponents have to play in the wide channel, then I think that's always much preferable to having them play through the middle. And I think having that extra body infield does help. And I think if it's one conventional six alongside another body, then I think that performance is only going to increase as well. At the moment, we still remember, for example, in this match, it was Alexander-Arnold and Gomez infield, and then in games gone by, McAllister and Alexander-Arnold infield. I mean, if you change one of those players to a conventional number six, you'd expect to see a bit of improvement there. But yeah, I think the system is here to stay. I think there's, but like I said before, as in just because it's a 3-2 at one point doesn't mean it can't change during a match, and you can use different shapes in different ways.
So I have the numbers. Last year we were 16th in the Premier League for through balls conceded, 2 per game. This year we are 4th best. Do you want to have a guess, Rhodesy?
What, through balls conceded?
Yeah.
40 games. 8?
Sorry, total. So, yeah. No, per 90. So we were 2 per 90 last year. What have we improved to this year?
Maybe point 8.
Close. Hamzah?
I've got it up. I'll cheat. You can just say.
Yeah, no. We are 1.3. We're 4th best in the league, and then the Arsenal are best, and Man City are 2nd best. So I think there's something in that in terms of But like you said, I think it's a really good, solid argument there, Hamzah. Is that it is much easier to score more dangerous and much higher quality chances straight through the middle of a team. And so if you have to block up the middle and force them, even if you seed the flanks, that's a very fair argument.
Dan, a few things. One, since this change of system from us, we've only lost one game, which was Spurs and Trent didn't play.
And then we shouldn't have lost it. Yeah.
And Trent hasn't lost a game while we've been doing it. And the one thing also in the group recently was Trent's through balls now are
on the positive side,
are up to De Bruyne levels. But I was doing a bit of a deep dive on Trent with and without this role. So one in the quadruple season, then last season, then in the hybrid since, and his figures are down. He's having less involvement. He's having less touches.
Apart from through balls. And now, there's a score, there's goals. What I don't mind Trent doing it's the responsibility of the team to then adapt and cover. But I was concerned the other day against Fulham when Gomez was doing it, because he's not a generational creative hub like Trent. Now, he has got the attributes that Hamzah touched on, the line breaks with the passes. But either he was doing that from centre-back or creating space for Salah and someone by going wide, and then we've still got the structure at the back. So if you're going to bring on a defender to allow Trent to go into midfield and then allow that defender to then hybrid into midfield, it was a bit of a concern for me. Yeah. You've always got to think about trying to analyse any decision in terms of the trade-offs, right? The pros and the cons of it, right? But I'm just struggling is what is the upside of trying to invert Joe Gomez?
I think it's. I think it's having a strong player who's good in the air and quick infield, as in those three sort of qualities you'd associate with a six, right? And if you're going to play a creative player alongside, just the same way you construct a normal double pivot, if you're playing with a 4-2-3-1, you might just have one defensive player and one creative one. I think it's about that relationship.
Active military or veteran planning your next career move? Start at Columbus State Community College. Columbus State equips you with the skills to launch a high-tech career in Columbus's fastest-growing fields, including cybersecurity, software development, and more. That's why employers fueling Central Ohio's tech boom hire our graduates. Plus, our veteran services team will help you maximize your benefits and connect to a supportive campus community. Take the first step. Apply at cscc.edu/IT.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac, and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
But isn't it then that the right eight, which would have been a guest Trent, and
Gravenberg still for this?
Okay, yeah. have to then adapt as well. So they've got to cover. You know, it's about the other players who are around that area of the pitch have to then cover. That's the whole point of the hybrid, isn't it? It's moving up and down, and it's changing positions. Someone has to do that, and maybe that's why they're persisting with it with Gomez to try and get other players to learn it better. But I don't know if we can see. I don't think it was to do with the hybrid for their third goal, but anyway, it was that area of the pitch. But
it was across from the left, wasn't it? He stood up to the back post. But yeah, I mean, Hamzah's making a really nice, positive, reasoned argument for it. It's just that
our results have been excellent.
I'm struggling. I know, and I guess, but I just can't shake that it's suboptimal in some way, and I just don't know. And that's why I asked when we did the debate last week. I hope you listened, Rhodesy. I was asking the question: are we the problem? Are we thinking about this wrong? Are we the generals fighting the last war? And that's why Hamzah's perspective is so important, because he's so new and fresh to this.
Yeah, and I think it's fine to analyse it, but we have to look at the results. We have to look at the outcomes.
Yeah,
and. Are we conceding any more XG down that side when Trent's doing it than we did when he was just a right back?
Well, we're conceding. We know that we're conceding 30% too much XT and XG this season, and a lot of that is going to be through that position. Yeah. So, but then again, it's a trade-off. That is the trade-off in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. It's something definitely to track. And like I said, I did do a bit, but Trent's numbers are down pretty much across the board for creation, XA, chances. But then the key one is through balls.
Yeah.
One of the best in the world at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we're second in the league. We're a point ahead of City. We're 2 points off the top. We're conceding a goal a game, only a goal a game. There's a lot to like. Not many people would have had us in this position after 14 games before the season started, other than Si.
In fact, the best bit about it, Dan, is there's a lot to like, but there's a lot to improve.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Although, to be honest, with Alisson's injury, then okay. Let's not. Yeah. Although Arsenal, unfortunately, had one of the most historically good defences since XG was started. Is really, really annoying now. It's really starting to get on my pip. Arsenal's defence is that good.
Arsenal.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, we'll definitely prove Si wrong on the Newcastle one. But anyway, let's finish off this match before we get too far ahead of ourselves. And Rhodesy, it was looking, after missing all those chances, to get hit by that sucker punch, on the back post header. That was alarm bells were really ringing at that point, right?
Well, yeah. So Willian plays in Tierney. I think Tierney should be tracked better. I think it's an easy ball for Willian. It's allowed to be played that easily. It's a really nice cross, probably perfect, but neither Van Dijk nor Tsimikas goes up for the header. I guess it's because Reed's got the momentum.
Yeah.
And he heads in a huge chance to put us. Kelleher can't do about this one. I just thought the tracking of Reed should have been better.
I really like that stand-up ball from Kearney, though. That was really
perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. Kearney, that's it. Kearney.
Yeah, Tom Kearney, wasn't it? Yeah. And
at this point, we're turning it off.
Especially when we missed the chance for Mo's 200, when he just blazes it high and wide. Yeah. And Rosie, what's the thing you've been saying for years? Every player misses. Even Messi misses half of his shots.
It's such a trope that I don't know the percentage of football fans that don't seem to understand this, but it's one of the most non-understood things from football fans. They think you have to convert all big chances down, and as we know, what they converted at about 38%.
Yeah.
Across the board. The best player in the world has possibly done it at 42, 43.
It's mad, isn't it? And this is why, you get a high XG chance inside the 6-yard box, slightly on the angle. But there's a reason that is a 60% chance, because it's missed 40% of the time because of instances like this, where even good players blaze it high and wide.
But this football match probably encapsulates a lot of what the majority of football fans don't understand. You get football fans shouting "shoot" from 25, 30 yards.
I told you to shoot, you scored.
Yeah, and then in this game they go in and everyone's like, "See."
Yeah,
and of course, aesthetically, it's just brilliant to watch. Klopp said he's never watched a game like this, and that's the point I keep making. He's never watched a game like this after about 1,000 games, because they don't go in. Whereas if you work it into the box, you've got a higher chance of them going in. Now, you do need a balance, because defenders...
Was this our biggest chance of the match?
And the Salah one is gone on understart. I think it's 0.7. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the biggest chance of the match for us.
So this is the biggest one, and it probably
and the player you want it to fall to, and he just blazes it.
Yeah. It's exactly who you'd want it to fall to, but you can't. There's no formula. Sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Over a huge sample, Dan, and you've got lots of
yeah.
Over a huge sample, I think you did a brilliant analysis of big chance conversion with Núñez compared to other Liverpool forwards, and his was at 29 compared to 30. So
he is it's like one of these things is not like the others, unfortunately.
He needs to improve that 100%, and seems to do it for Uruguay. Isn't doing it for us.
Yes, that's got to be what gives you hope, though. Anyway, so
exactly the improvement.
Yeah. So Hamzah, I think we're all feeling the worst at this point, weren't we? This was it. Oh, it's one of those days now. Then the most unlikely equaliser I can recall, anyway. What about you?
I just want to come back very briefly
in a good way. Go on.
to the actual Fulham's third, because it actually touches on what we were discussing previously, is in the point of having sort of Gomez come inside is that it gives you solidity in rest defense, right? As in, so like you're prepared for transitions, but the problem in the bit of because the Fulham goal comes from a transition, so I won't check how does that sort of happen. Trent goes into midfield and I think he's dispossessed, and it's okay because Gakpo gets the ball and gives it to Gravenberch, and at this point there is Joe Gomez behind him, around 20 yards diagonally to his right backwards. Then you got Konate, Van Dijk, and Tsimikas all in their own half. So Liverpool have the ball, and at this point, remember the point that Simon used to make about, he does make about Thiago knowing when to pass forward, and when to pass forward into a dangerous area so you can counter press, and when not to. What Gravenberch does here is he forces a pass forward where Liverpool just definitely are not set to lose a ball, and they're not set with their system to be able to deal with transition, because Trent is already ahead and he's been dispossessed and he's on the floor. Gravenberch just has to sort of understand, as the deepest midfielder at this point, shuttling the ball safely is important. So then your rest defence is ready to sort of make sure the middle is compact, because Liverpool can't counter press once he sort of plays his pass into Fulham's number 6, who is Harrison Reed. So that was I thought just. Yeah, the point of having the player in field is also not just to give sort of solidity when the opponent tries to sort of pass through the middle, but so that you can counter press effectively. But you've got to apply sort of common sense in those moments to understand if you're the deepest player and someone's going ahead of you, not to do that. But yeah, Endo comes on. To come to the goal. And I don't think anyone really expected this, but he takes it absolutely superbly. The key here.
He doesn't try and hit it too hard, does he?
No. Exactly that, as in just placement, striking through it with your instep. A goalkeeper can't get close to it. The Salah gets a layoff as well. It's an excellent strike, and it gives Liverpool hope where, like you said, at this point, it really is expecting the worst. Sort of, here goes the unbeaten streak at Anfield.
Yeah. Do you know? But did you know though? Did you listen to the pod after we signed Endo and said the most notable feature about him, the most positive stat he's averaging 7 goal involvements a season in the Bundesliga, 4 goals and 3 assists. So and it was very consistent over the 3 seasons. 12 goals and 9 assists over 3 full seasons in the Bundesliga for the deepest midfielder. That's just what a bonus of a contribution that is. Okay, he's not the greatest in other areas, but you really can't look past that, and it makes you think that when you see him with that finish, he doesn't try and blaze it. He almost just tries to just place it into the top corner, right?
Yeah, it's really, really, really well struck. So the ball, I think, Konate plays it forward into Nunez, and he again, even when he's not at his best, because of his physical presence.
Yeah, he won the knockdown effectively.
He won the header really, really easy. He just jumped up and dominated. I think Bassi sort of loses him, but he's up, wins a header straight into Salah, and then Salah holds Ream off before laying it. I think that was it. Johnny Northcroft did an interview with Enzo in the week just gone, so the interview was in
Johnny Northcroft, get you, Hamzah.
But no, because I'm pretty sure Johnny mentioned on Media Matters that he really does rate Endo. He even before the interview, before he did it, he sort of kept slipping in like Endo. He's a really good player, and he sort of like tried to not sort of give away that he's got the interview. Johnny's one of the best football minds that we have, I think, at the paper. I think it's fair to say, and if he sort of gives a sort of approval to a player, then you know he's a good pedigree. But yeah, that goal threat is just an added bonus.
Yeah, just to touch on this, when I think Konate plays the ball, Endo's just crossing our halfway line, and sees the potential and puts on the burners that he's got that aren't that good, but he does get there. But Dave Hendrick on the Daily Pod today was talking about Nunez's involvement. I think he had 2 hockey assists, is what Si would call them. This knockdown, winning the ball, and him being there with that presence, and Salah being in the box pushes Fulham back. And when the layoff from Salah gets to Endo, there's like 3 or 4 Fulham defenders, and he does curl it around him, but that affects the vision of the keeper as well. He's got to execute it, and he does it perfectly, top bins, but it's those little things of creating chaos monsters are cliche now, but he's pushing that Fulham defence back, which allows Endo the space just on the edge of the box, and then Salah sets him up and he converts it. It's a great finish, but it's that kind of thing that Dave was touching on, saying, yeah, Núñez has missed 2 big chances in this game. Just got, but he's improved his pressing. I think we'll come on to the 4th goal. Yeah, it's 34 seconds after the 3rd goal.
Is it?
Had I been doing the pressing, Dan, it wouldn't have gone down as a press leading to a goal, but Núñez is the one that presses the Fulham player who gives it away. And then it is 25 seconds after that press, so it wouldn't count. But that's what I mean. He's doing other things.
Just before you come on to the 4th goal, right? I mean, we haven't got you pressing at the moment for understandable reasons. I mean, when you watch the games, you always do watch it through your pressing lens, I guess. What have you made of the? What did you make of the general pressing performance in this game?
So I thought it was one that I really would have added quite a bit of insight. I thought there was.
You think there would have been some things, maybe some good things and some really bad things in there?
I think there was some really good things and really bad things.
Would most of the bad things possibly have involved Ryan Gravenberch?
Ryan Gravenberch and Luis Diaz, yeah.
He doesn't look like a presser, does he, Grav?
He doesn't look like he's in sync with any of the other players to know when to.
No. It's going to be a long adaptation, I think, for him.
Yeah. As it was with Núñez, it wasn't with Szoboszlai and McAllister who were seeing those performances. McAllister looks, again, there was a couple of decisions from him in terms of applying pressure that I thought was the wrong time to do it. But he's playing in a position, I think Phil's, what's it called? The pitch zone up to the first sub. You can see the overlap. And this is some of the pressing issues I thought happened, particularly in the first half. There's McAllister, Szoboszlai and Grav. And there's so much overlap between them that you might think is good for covering the pitch, but it's not good for the kind of pressing excellence that I thought we were doing in some of the games earlier in the season where it was backing up that second ball. So Núñez was going from instruction from Salah. Jota was going, so we were creating pressure on the opposition's defence, but it was then winning the second balls because the midfield was structured well enough and disciplined enough to win it. It was opposite in this game.
I would say that I think it's the identity of that third midfielder is absolutely critical, isn't it?
Well, we know Curtis is arguably the best midfield presser in our team.
Yeah, but then he also, not only is it's in 2 ways. One, it's the Gagan, where the instant, within 4 or 5 seconds, he's straight in there and he's got that instant recovery and he's really good at that. But then when we drop off into more conventional, he is the one who drops into the more, he's the protection rather than the aggression on the role, and we don't really have that with the 3 that started on the weekend, right? Do we? We don't have that blend of the 2 and the 1 in the midfield.
Absolutely not. And as you saw from the position that McAllister took up for the goal, he's meant to be a 6, but getting forward to apply pressure for that second ball, it worked then, but at other times it didn't work, and Fulham got away. It's just that structure and discipline in midfield when we're in transition, losing the ball, or when we press well from the front, that we didn't. That was particularly bad in the first half. I've learned this, and I thought it was a good one to do, but apologies.
Yeah. So
let's have 28-hour days.
Yeah. If only. If only. So just back to the winning goal, and what you said before about Núñez, he does get a shot creating action on FB ref for the Endo one. He gets his so Salah gets the assist and Núñez does the hockey. But yeah, the only one which is credited as a shot creating action for Trent's winner is the Gakpo shot.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess it's because Núñez is who reacts quickest. By the way, Núñez is crossed back into the box. He's won by the Fulham player wins.
Yeah, and then it comes out to Gakpo who then shoots. Yeah, so he just basically it's the new phase. Yeah, so there's nothing there. But yeah, like you said, he was involved in the move. But it was a good effort from Gakpo, wasn't it? He was on target. He forced
a great shot, curling effort near post.
Yeah. And then Trent has his moment to be the hero.
It's slightly poor control, which puts it just. But I don't know if you've watched it. There's a Neil Mellor analysis show that they do. There's a free version that you can get on YouTube. It's only like 8-9 minutes long. It does all the Liverpool goals. But and it's not the best analysis. But anyway, there's a camera angle that they show on that where Trent can literally just put this in one spot, or else it's hitting a Fulham player.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Do you remember the drought, the 130 shots at Anfield without scoring that one? And then Trent got the goal.
Those were a fun 6 podcasts, Dan.
I know, yeah. And then Trent got the goal against Villa. A little bit further out than this one. But again, it went through like a sea of lags. Yeah. And there was only one place he could put it in score. Yeah. Reminded me of that one. And that was a winner as well, wasn't it?
This is the payoff, isn't it? This is the risk versus reward. We can see 2 goals down that side.
Yeah. Apparently it's all to do with his boot deal, though, Rhodesy. He's just signing
it's not
different boots.
Ex-Liverpool star, wasn't it? What's his name?
Craig Johnston.
Craig Johnston, yeah. I remember the Predator documentary in the 90s. My son told me, he said he's wearing old Predators. And I went, no, he's not. He's not wearing the old ones. Theirs were like big black leather things with massive protruding things coming out of him. That's like, but yeah, apparently he's got the new deal to wear these ones. So yeah,
nice.
It's working. It's top score. It's 2 games.
Yeah. Hamzah, anything you want to add on the Trent winner, or anything generally to finish off?
We could do the long shot stuff if you fancy.
Go on quickly, yeah.
Yeah, so the headline stat is this season Liverpool's average shot distance is 18.1 yards, which is actually the furthest from goal since 17-18.
Yeah, 18.1 in attack is not good. That's got to be lower down the league table, right?
I think it's 18th in the league, actually, so only 2 teams have the distance that's further out. Obviously, the biggest offenders, if we want to call them offenders, are Szoboszlai, Trent, and the third one...
Núñez.
So Núñez is yet to score from his shots outside the box. There's another interesting bit as well. So still, despite these shots from distance, the XG per shot is 0.11, which is fine, and roughly in line with how it's been the previous few seasons. But what we actually saw was when Klopp came in, there was a sort of concerted effort to actually try and get the shots closest to goal. And this season is probably because of player profiles, because of players like Alexander-Arnold, because of players like Szoboszlai, you're seeing a higher volume of shots from outside the area, which is good and bad. I mean, sometimes it's valuable when playing against a low block to have 1 or 2 players that are willing to take a shot on, because it invites opponents out and creates space. And then next time someone lines up a shot, an opponent might close them down, which means that player can slip another teammate in. So it's good to have variety, and it's good to have specialists.
Yeah,
there's like those two that are good at striking the ball cleanly and from distance. But yeah, the other stat as well is that of goals this season, 17.2% have been goals from outside the box of all Premier League goals that Liverpool have scored, and of total shots this season, 39.4% have been shots from outside the box. Last season, that was 28.6. Season before, 32.9. Season before that, 33.2. And actually, the last time it was this high was in the 16-17 season, when it was 40.2. But yeah.
So in the title season, we actually got our shots in the box down below 30%, didn't we? The shots outside the box below 30% of all, which is, that's crazy low.
29.4 in that season, and I think 14.5% of the goals. But yeah, in the 18-19 season, we might come back to this at some other point or discuss it later. But I always think the 18-19 team is just better than the 19-20 team.
Same.
The share of goals from outside the box was 5.81. Because that team was excellent at creating chances inside the area. You take the 2 goals. No, you take the goal that was scored against City in the 2-1 defeat, and the one that was cleared off the line. Just excellent examples of being able to work the ball into the box, into good shooting areas. The season afterwards it was 14.5%. The season that Liverpool won the league. Probably. I mean, ideally, I think just having a larger share inside the box would be a bit more ideal. It's good to have these players that have these qualities, but
so just some context on that one. I've seen those 2 seasons, Hamzah. It's a really good one actually, because we've had 98 shots from outside the box in the Premier League this season, and in the whole of 18-19, we had 198 shots outside the box. So exactly half that in 14 games. And in both seasons, we've scored 5 goals. So in 18-19, 5 out of 198 shots is 1 every 40. Not great. This year, 5 in 98, 1 in every 20. Much better. But the worrying thing in the back of your mind is that we could have another 100 shots this season and not score again from outside the box. It wouldn't be unheard of.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that will hurt.
Yeah.
If you're shooting more from outside the box.
Those game, which match was it? It wasn't too long ago where it was quite obvious that Liverpool were shooting from outside the box too much.
Luton?
Yeah. So I think that's something that just needs. There are opportunities in this match where you see a better pass on. You just think that you probably should be taking the pass. I mean, McAllister. I mean, if the ball sits up nicely, yeah, sure, take it on.
Well, you think, but Rhodesy, this is probably the best team we've had for a long time in terms of shooting from outside the box, because we've got 3 very good ones in Gakpo, Szoboszlai, and Trent, right? And then you've got
Endo 5 from
Endo,
1.6 or something.
Endo and Mac, and then you got Salah, who can obviously score a few from outside the box as well, although not free kicks.
So we did a brief analysis before the pod, Dan, and I couldn't find another player. I think Diaz is 1 goal from 0.5, so he rarely does it, but he has got one. The only one is Nunes, who hasn't scored despite taking, was it 30 odd, you said?
33 shots since he joined in the league. Yeah, that's in the league as well. That's just the league.
So there is a quality there of players who seem to have an over-performance level. Samples aren't that big, but I don't know if it's because of the stark nature of in our best seasons. I'm guessing the analysis and the analysts at Liverpool are aware of this, right?
Yeah.
But if they are aware of it and now we're doing it more, have this group of players been given more license? Is it a conscious thing? Because if it is, then fine. But I'm a big. I'd rather it was 70-30 shots inside the box just because of law of averages.
Yeah, I agree. It would be nice.
The flip side is if you sometimes take the Jota goal against, who was it? So Szoboszlai takes a shot, it's deflected.
Oh, Jota scored from outside the box, didn't he? It was the other week.
No, he scored from inside the box. It was a Szoboszlai shot that was deflected. The keeper saved it, and then Jota from the left side of the area tapped in.
All right.
So there are sometimes upsides to creating space. The sequence was Liverpool pass from left to right, so the play was spread, which meant there was space for Szoboszlai to attack in the right half space, as there was no players there. Then he ran into it, took a shot. There was a deflection, it was saved, and then Jota scored. So on that front, that I would I'd support taking those shots. But there's 2 things I'd like to say here. One is that I think when you look at the highlights that Szoboszlai has for Hungary, you see him inside the box more, and he has 85% of his shots, 86 actually, outside the box this season. He's a very good number 10 by trade. I know he's playing as number 8, but as in to have that sort of closer activity in and around the box might be.
And I will just say that the Cody Gakpo shot was miles out. the one that the keeper spills to come back out for Trent, that was a long way out.
Yeah. And the other point that I was thinking of making, I've just briefly sort of... yes, when you actually look at the shot maps and you compare, I don't think these are... It's not like there's a lot just outside the box. There are a handful of shots from Trent and Szoboszlai and a few other players where you're thinking... I don't think the club are telling you to take these shots.
No.
Just from having a look at the shot maps. Yeah. So.
But anyway, it was a fun match, a bit of a roller coaster match, but Yeah, a big 3 points. Anyway.
And at least Sky decided to put Palace somebody else on that I remember the team they were playing, and it was 1-1.
But we will be back, Rhodesy. We will be back. You might be back, fingers crossed. But we will be back next week for another doubleheader. This time a Premier League doubleheader. 2 away matches, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. So here's to keeping up this good form at the top of the league. Until then, up the fucking Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.